Hi everyone. So today we are going to talk about CA articleship. The CA articleship is a crucial and mandatory part of Chartered Accountancy program in India. This is a practical training program which is designed to provide aspiring chartered accountants with hands-on experience in an office setup. For me, this is one of the most interesting parts of the entire CA journey. So let's take a detailed overview of what really CA articleship is all about. So, in order to become eligible for CA articleship, students must have passed both the groups of CA intermediate exam and they have to mandatorily complete the integrated course on information technology and soft skills. So these are the two criteria to become eligible for CA articleship. Now, let's talk about the duration. The duration of articleship is typically 2 years. This was revised from 3 years under the new scheme which was implemented in 2024 May. Previously, students could appear for CA final exams after completing the articleship period of 2.5 years out of the 3 years period, but now the eligibility for CA exams has slightly changed, which we will cover in our CA final exam video. Now let's talk about the training structure and the experience that you get in these 2 years. So during the 2 years training, students work under the guidance of a practicing chartered accountant. And the training aims to provide a practical exposure to the students in various fields such as accounting, tax, auditing, company law matters, and management consulting, which would include almost everything like developing professional skills of writing, research, working in an office setup, having client interactions, etc. Now let's talk about the working hours and leaves under articleship. So the working hours for an article assistant is typically 35 hours per week. And generally the office for the principal, which is the supervising chartered accountant, should not be before 9 a.m. in the morning, or it should not be after 7 p.m. in the evening. And the normal working hours typically should be somewhere between 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. But it can vary. There is no tracking mechanism currently, so I know this is very subjective and it varies largely based on each firm. But typically, this is what the standard is as per the institute. Now, in case of busy season, like for example, there is any urgent work, we are close to the taxation deadline audits, tax audit deadlines, or we are, closer to any other deadlines like ITR return deadlines and things like that, then it can stretch a little bit. It can go up to 45 hours. But the good part is the principal is then supposed to provide compensatory leaves based on the extra hours that the article assistant has worked beyond 35 hours. Now, so this is all about the work timing and the number of hours that you are supposed to be working as an article assistant in a week. Now let's talk about leaves. So typically, you can take up to 12 leaves in 1 year. It can be sick leaves, casual leave, or any other leaves. It's generally recommended to not take further leaves, otherwise it may lead to delay in completion of articleship period. Anything greater than 12 leaves, unless you have a good understanding with your principal and there is a genuine reason. But for the most part, it can lead to delay in completion of articleship because most of the CA principals, they end up adding these leaves and extending the articleship, which is definitely not pleasant and can lead to you missing your CA exam attempt. Now let's talk about another interesting criteria, which is stipend, the reward that somebody gets in the article assistance training. And this includes, so what chartered accountancy or ICAI has done is ICAI has prescribed a minimum stipend or a minimum wage that the CAs are supposed to be getting. You can get the details on the website as well. And it really depends upon the population of the city or the town where you are applying for the articleship. So I don't really remember the the exact numbers, but if you are from, or if you're attempting to do a articleship in a small town, say where the population is less than 5 lakhs, then you would get somewhere around 2000 per month. If you are in a mid-tier city, like somewhere between 5 to 20 lakhs of population, I think, there you would get 3000 per month. And anything which is tier 1, which is more than 20 lakhs, then that's where you get 4000 per month. However, in many firms, especially the larger ones, such as especially in metro cities, if you're engaged with big four accounting firms like EY, PwC, or Deloitte, KPMG, then they generally offer higher stipends, and it can go as high up to like 15,000 in the first year, and 20 or 25,000 in the second year, depending on the town and the city and the kind and the size of firm that you are going to be working with. Because the stipend limits that the ICAI has prescribed are minimum, it can go up to any extent. Now, the bonus tip or the other important aspect to consider aside these aspects of articleship is something called as industrial training. Now, industrial training is entirely optional, and you are eligible, or you can actually apply for industrial training after completing 12 months of articleship. So bare minimum, you have to do articleship for 12 months, after which you will be eligible for industrial training. Now, industrial training period is typically from 9 to 12 months. And what exactly is industrial training? And this is typically, again, undertaken with a chartered accountant, where you are actually employed with them, and it provides you the exposure of corporate environment. So in articleship, you might not get a corporate exposure unless you choose to work with big firms. So depending on the size of the firm, the articleship exposure might vary. But in industrial training, you are actually employed, and you get the exposure to the corporate environment and specialize in areas like financial planning and corporate finance, which we call as FP&A or corporate finance. Now, the stipend during articleship training is generally higher, and it often matches with the corporate standards. This is an entirely optional part of the course. If you choose as a student to continue taking your or completing your CA article assistantship, then you can continue doing that. However, there is also an option to have an industrial training. So this is pretty much about the articleship and what it encompasses. In the next video, we are going to talk about CA final. Thank you.